So what does Jim Cramer think of Archer Aviation? We're going to get to that answer shortly, but first thing I want to do is show you the charts. So as you can see, I was projecting that price would continue to rise, retest resistance, and move higher, but that's not the case. Archer Aviation still has a lot to prove as they are still in the prototype phase, and they're about a year out from that prototype moving into commercial. Now, one thing to note is that on the weekly chart, you had this major resistance support band, which was nestled within a weekly bias level. And that bias level was formed on this rallying price, basing candles, and then the rally out. You had a gap higher. So this is really, that gap higher is really an extended range green candle. And as you can see, price worked the first time, right? You had a pullback into that zone, great opportunity to buy. But the fact that price on this leg higher could not take out the $7 and say 50-cent level decreased the probability of this weekly bias level holding. In addition, if you look at the candles back in October, price penetrated the zone almost 100%, meaning at this point there were no more unfilled buy orders. So when price came back, not only did it fail to take out the pivot high at $7 and say 50 cents, but because price penetrated the zone pretty much 100%, it opened the door for the sellers to take control, and that's exactly what we saw. If you go to the daily chart, you can see how price came to the bottom of the zone, and on the return, even though we had a reaction, it set the stage for price to move lower, and that's what happened. So where does price go from here? Well, before we do that, let's look at this article because they did come out with some news. So air mobility specialist Archer Aviation, which focuses on development of eVTOL aircraft, saw its shares decline on Thursday despite seemingly positive news. Management revealed that it completed a series of battery pack drop tests, which may help lift investors' confidence in the long run. Now, over the course of the week, Archer's engineering and certification team led the testing process of the company's proprietary battery packs. This involved dropping the battery at a height of 50 feet, which simulates extreme impact scenarios. Further, the testing involved various stages of charge: 0, 30, and 100%. And here's what the company had to say. The battery packs withstood the impact without any signs of failure and remarkably continued to function properly. So you would think that the stock would increase on that news, but again, Archer Aviation stock is caught in a credibility crosswind. What do I mean? And then here's what Jim is going to say regarding the company. Still, Archer Aviation stock faces some criticism or skepticism. Last month, Archer stated that it entered the final phase of type certification for its Midnight eVTOL. That caused many industry observers to raise their eyebrows since the company had not yet transitioned to wing-borne flight. Also worth noting, a pilot never flew the Midnight aircraft. Later, management clarified that it considers the final phase of certification to be what the FAA labels as implementation phase. Prior to the issuance of a stock certificate, still, the issue presents confusion for investors of Archer Aviation stock. Notably, CNBC personality Jim Cramer recently stated that he can't recommend Archer because it has no earnings power. There's so much good stocks right now. We don't need that. Now, despite the questions surrounding Archer Aviation stock, it enjoys an unanimous, strong buy view among covering analysts. The average price target stands at $10.33, implying a 120% upside from the time of writing price. The high side estimate calls for $12 per share. So Wall Street's bullish. However, price action is bearish. And as you can see, we now have a bearish crossover between the 13 and the 26 simple moving average. And you know, $4 becomes your line in the sand. Why? Well, that's where we saw the most recent pivot low form before bouncing. But that bounce could just be the pullback before potentially the next leg lower. Right? So if you get a close below the previous pivot low, that opens the door for price to move lower. How low can it go? Well, if I look at the current candle go left and down, you do have a spot right here. You have a rallying price, a couple of basing candles, and then rally out. It's a weak rally out, but nevertheless, that would be the next target that I would be looking at, which would be the $3 level, which also fits nicely in alignment with this W pattern, double bottom, apex. If you scroll further to the left, support. So this will be the next level, again, if price closes below $4. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please like the video.